I'm live. You live on your
Yes,
end?
am.
All right. Hey, everybody. Come on in. Join us. Join us for the self-care doctors.
Yes, it's that time again. Wellness
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yes, Wellness Wednesday with the Self Care Doctors. So, for those of you who are joining us live, be sure to comment below and let us know that you are here so we can show you some love. And if you are catching a replay, type hashtag replay.
Okay.
I'm a little clapper. All right. So, we'll get started. A few more seconds. See if anybody else joins us. All right, counting down. All right, it's been a minute. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, my name is Dr. LaToya, and I transition moms with multiple children from worn out to winning. I teach them how to no longer feel depleted, but learn the healthy habits so they can. Look, I'm all tired. So this is why we talk about self-care, right? I teach them how to develop those necessary healthy habits so they won't feel depleted and they can be nourished, renewed, and rejuvenated with healthy habits, with biblical principles that bring peace instead of self-pity. And this is Dr. Shannon.
Yes, I'm Dr. Shannon, aka Dr. Fitness. I am a transformational coach and I help women balance self care and success.
Self-care and success, y'all. We all need that. So if you are catching us, if you caught the replay or you were here live last week, we talked a little teeny bit about having a self-care routine. So that's what we are going to talk about today. We want to really expand on that topic so you can get started on a good self-care routine that works for you. So Dr. Shannon, what does a self-care look like? A self-care routine look like for you on a daily basis?
On a daily basis. So we talked about last week how for me, self-care is putting oxygen mask on yourself first. As Dr. Shannon Harrington, I wear multiple hats. So I'm not a mommy yet. I got a fur baby and she count, but she ain't like with your boys. I don't have like no real children yet, but I got a fur baby. But I'm a speaker, author, coach. I'm a daughter. I'm a niece. I'm a sister. I'm a servant in church. I have different ministries that I serve on. I'm an entrepreneur, and the list goes on. So just me saying all that made me tired. So
Right.
for me, every position that I hold requires me to pour. And if I don't first put the oxygen mask on myself first or pour within myself, each and every day, some days I have like 5 minutes to do it, some days I might have 50 minutes to do it. But if I'm not intentional about practicing that daily, I can tell when I'm like, you know what? Ooh, everybody getting on my nerves. I don't have the energy. I'm just not feeling it. So my routine is something I've been doing since 2017 because I realized that a spiritual grounding was the way I needed to start my day. So I needed to understand and pour into myself and see what God says and get my strength from the word. So I do the 4 W's: war room, workout, worship, work. So war room, the movie, it's devotional time. It's my time with God where I'm on my knees or laying in the bed talking to Jesus, whatever. But we getting it in. Do my devotional, do all my reading, say my little prayers and affirmations, and move on. Workout, for those of you who follow me, I'm not Dr. Fitness for no reason. So I don't do crazy stuff I post on Instagram and the Facebook every day. But some days like yoga, some days it's taking some deep breaths or doing something to move my body in a purposeful
Mhm.
way. So that's workout. Worship is worship. Sometimes it's a Tasha Cobb's running around the house worship. Sometimes it's a Tasha it, everything no, everything no. So however I need to shift the
Right.
atmosphere in mode, that's how we gonna worship. And then work. So work, I don't work myself every day, 7 days a week, but work to me is the things that I do in my corporate job, the things that I do in my entrepreneurial space. And sometimes work was my mom's friend had surgery, so I was in nurse mode for the last couple of days.
Mhm.
How
Okay.
God is me and my gifts to make a difference in the world. Sometimes it's just making somebody smile by giving them a compliment. I love when I see a boss lady. I'm not one of them jealous chicks. I am that crazy person that'll see you in Walmart or Macy's. They'd be like, and
We
so
need that. Uplift
yes,
one another.
yes. So I love to make people smile. So whatever it is that God is gonna use me, however He's gonna use me today, that's work to me.
That's work. All right. I love that. So, self care for me is somewhat similar. So, when I wake up, and I'll tell y'all how mine shift a little bit. So, my ideal plan is to wake up in the morning and start my worship also. Sometimes with me being a mom, that does not happen. You could I could plan to wake up at 7 o'clock, and oh, here comes somebody else deciding to wake up at the same time as me. You could wake up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It don't matter what time you decide. Sometimes that baby, or even sometimes the older kids at times will decide they want to wake up too. So my ideal plan is to wake up in the morning and start my worship. But I have my backup plan. So, like right now, after I drop my older two kids off to school, sometimes I would just sit in the car. I won't even come back in the house. I will sit right there in the car, peace and quiet, no disturbances, and do my worship. And my worship includes prayer, reading the word, or listening to the word. That's why it's no excuses. I can either read it or listen to it. Sometimes I'm listening to some form of either the Bible, like the Bible app, a scripture, or even a sermon while I'm driving. Actually, this daily devotional that I've been doing lately, shout out to the Faith Mamas Tribe. I listen daily. So, like the Faith Mamas Tribe, they do like a daily Bible study at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't usually like to wake up that early, but I catch the replay. And that's what I'm doing. I'm listening to those things. And then when I have my quiet time, when I can sit still, if I am driving, once I can sit still, I can really meditate on what I listen to. So that's a little bit of my worship time. And same thing, like you said, I may put on the worship music. Self care for me sometimes, if I'm just having a busy day, I'd incorporate that, with other things I'm doing. So if I'm cleaning up or, whatever I'm doing, cleaning up, maybe just working, I'm listening. I have those things in the background. So, I'm always kind of putting some substance, if that makes sense, in me. So self-care doesn't have to be a particular time of the day. You can have self-care throughout the day. Even my relationship with God, I don't just pray in the morning or pray at night. I'm really praying throughout the day. I just have those set times where I'm trying to go, deeper into certain things. So then moving along throughout the day, I work and I'm taking breaks. So, whether that's was working on my business or doing coursework, learning things, you have to make sure you're taking breaks and not just on the go, on the go, on the go, which is actually what I did today. So I was being bad. Now I followed my advice and I was on the go, go, go all day. But that's why I'm not actually going to the gym after I get off this call. Usually I'm going to the gym when I leave, which is part of my self-care plan. But today I have to prioritize what's more important. And what's more important right now, after I get off this call with you all, is resting. So sometimes it does shift depending on what's going on in your day. But typically, I'll be about to go to the gym around 7 o'clock. So that is my 1 hour of working out with my Soca Fit fam, having a bunch of fun, working out even through the torture. It's still fun. And then at nighttime, once the kids are in bed, I have my quiet time then. And my quiet time at night can vary. Sometimes I just like to watch TV. That's usually like a time that me and my husband can connect. Or I might decide to do some more quiet time, getting back in the scripture and doing some journaling. So it really depends on nighttime, I guess, on what I feel like I need at the moment. Or sometimes I'll wait till my husband goes to bed and then I'll stay up a little bit longer to do some more quiet time stuff by myself.
That's awesome. I love how you wove that throughout. You weave self care throughout your day, and you
Mm-hmm.
do what you need to do to keep you grounded and in a certain space, and that's so powerful. That's a great takeaway from me because I do something similar. And sometimes when you got a whole lot going on in certain seasons of my life, you and I were talking about this before we
Mm-hmm.
came on. There's self care seasons, so it's going to be this is your routine now. You had a different self-care need and routine probably when you just had one child, when you just had
Oh
two
yeah.
children, that you have three. Different. Self-care hit a little different. And
Oh,
you might need Jesus a little bit more throughout the day with
right.
3 babies. day because I need him a
Right.
little bit more than I did with one baby. But just joking. But to weave
There's a
it
lot
and
of truth
have
to that.
preach. But I was in I took a certification course at UPenn, and it was about resilience and well-being. It was talking about resilience, well-being, and self-care in the moment. And sometimes you ain't got time to go get some alcohol, have a wine night with your friends, go or worship God. Where you might just have 2 minutes or 35 seconds to get your whole life together. What are you going to do to shift your energy and to bounce back in 30 seconds?
Right.
So for me, if I had 30 seconds, I'm going to have to call Jesus a whole lot. Jesus and a few affirmations is going to shift me or whatever. But it's like you have to learn how to be resilient in the moment, because you're not going to always be able to go get a massage, go get a mani-pedi. It's not going to always be a beautiful self-care
Right.
experience.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I need to shift the atmosphere right now. Somebody's going to die. One of these children going to get hung from the chandelier. Jesus.
That is so true. Like you said, sometimes that 30 seconds could just be like, I need to pause before I say something I don't want to say. Right. Let me take a few deep breaths before I respond. That's self-care for me and you.
Self-care saves lives. We need that on a t-shirt. Self-care saves
Right.
lives. And you just said something else that's so powerful. Some self-care can be as simple as deep breathing. And I've taken a million mindfulness courses or whatever, and I helped write a whole article when I was doing my postdoctoral research about mindfulness and meditation, all this type of stuff. And I used to think, okay, they practicing, that's Buddhist and that's just crazy stuff. I ain't want to do the yoga. I'm like, if it ain't Christianity, I don't want none of it. But I had open my mind and become more aware of the techniques and adopt a lot of those techniques that are really self-care. And I had no idea how much I really wasn't breathing. Like I was breathing, like I was alive, but I wasn't really breathing like I was supposed to be breathing, like taking deep breaths. Yeah. How cleansing and therapeutic that is, just on a biological level. What it does for our body to take that time. Like you said, sometimes you just sit still in the silence. Like,
right. Hey, Miss Debbie, how are you?
Those 3 deep breaths could mean life or death sometimes, but it does for you to kind of get you out of that fight or flight, to kind of get you into that. I think about, remember what movie was it when Martin Lawrence had to go to the therapist and he kept saying "woosah."
That's the main person I think about when I hear that woosah is Martin.
So taking those woosah breaks throughout your day, they really do make a difference. I thought it was silly. I felt silly. I thought I looked silly, and I probably did. Like, you don't know how many lives.
That is so true.
Because it helps me to be like, Shannon, listen, because sometimes you battle between hood and holiness. Like sometimes people snatch you back into hood, and you just like, oh, Jesus. So those really like save lives, but I'm say that because it's something so simple to do, but it's very powerful.
Right. And that's so true. And I like that you mentioned the meditation piece, because like you said, as Christians, meditation can be bad. It just depends on like what are you meditating on? Are you trying to tap into something you shouldn't be tapping into? Or, are you simply just sitting there deep breathing? Breathing is breathing. But how you're breathing can help. It's a relaxation technique, So as long as you ain't trying to tap into some stuff that open up some portals and stuff, it's okay to just sit there and breathe. It's like you said, it's relaxing. It feels like a weight is lifted, and it helps to clear your mind and not empty your mind, but truly just clear your mind. It helps to really relax and really help you get some clarity on some things. While you're sitting there quietly and just deep breathing, things can come to you. You can actually hear from God better when you're sitting quietly. You can be meditating on the word, so it doesn't have to be on some demonic type of stuff, and all that other type of stuff. So just being clear on that, yo.
what you just said, I was listening to something. It's part of my self-care morning. And whoever I was listening to said that sometimes we listen to stuff or we have our prayer time or we just want to talk. We just run our mouth. But sometimes prayer time needs to be when you shut your mouth and you listen.
Yes.
Like, okay, read the word. Don't just read it for the word, but read the word and allow the word to read you.
Right. Because all times we'll pray, read, and go on about our day. You didn't wait around to hear anything. Hear what God wants to say to you. It's like, up on the go. And then you're thinking, oh, I'm not hearing from God. I guess so.
Are you
can't
listening
hear from him in all that busyness.
He always talking, but are you listening?
Right. So, y'all, as we are, if you kind of grasp what we're even, trying to explain, self-care is going to look different for all of us. It may not look the same each and every day. And sometimes it does have to shift. So I wanted to talk about this also. I'm not sure if it happens with you, Dr. Shannon, but I know for me with these 3 kids, it happens a lot. So I kind of talked about a little bit, like, okay, sometimes I have to shift how I'm doing things throughout the day. But what happens when your day just doesn't go the way you planned, like at all, like from right to left, something is happening? How do you happen to handle that? Like, okay, I can't even sit still for a second every time I try. And I know you kind of mentioned that like 30, sometimes you need just 30 seconds, which is one good thing, we can all do. We can find 30 seconds to, like you said, just sit still for a moment and breathe and relax. Yes. What else do you do when just nothing is going your way at all? It's just a complete bad day. Not a bad moment, a bad day.
Girl, so that used to be one of my pet peeves. And as a nurse, girl, you got 6 patients on the floor. You got 8 patients on the floor. Ain't nothing gonna go your way. Like, you didn't
right.
You got lives to save. Like, even in academia, it wasn't as bad as academia because it was a little bit more predictable. But as a nurse, I had to learn very quickly that, Shannon, I got to talk to you sometimes, Shannon, you gonna have to calm down, honey. And I had to learn to be, one of my mentors said, baby, you got to be hot yoga flexible in life. That's why that routine that we're talking about, I only have control over. And I love how you talked about this. You got control over how your day starts and you got control over how your day ends. Sometimes as a mom, you ain't got control over how your day starts or how it ends. But sometimes, maybe 50% of the time, you got control over how it starts and how it ends. Whatever's going on in the meantime, in between time with kids, with work, with husbands, with all that type of stuff, listen, it's up to the world and whatever else you got going on. If you wear multiple hats, you can be in multiple different things. Think of all apart. But I had to learn to be okay with it and not be so rigid. God told me, I don't pray for patience because God ain't just gonna mail you some patience. He gonna put you in situations that require you to be patient.
That's it right there.
So, patience, and I pray that God will allow me to be that hot yoga flexible that my mentor told me I needed to be. But I'm like, okay, I struggle with that, but I had to learn to stop. I do a whole lot of breathing. So if I sometimes it's a breathe,
screaming,
a breathe and a yell. Sometimes it's just like, oh Lord, really? But I have to learn how to recalibrate. And the more I get comfortable being uncomfortable and understanding that life is not going to always be predictable or go the way that Dr. Shannon wants it to go. And that's okay. But I had to learn to embrace the turbulence of a day or embrace the turbulence of a week, a month, or a year, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. Just embrace that, buckle up, and keep putting the oxygen mask on myself first.
Yes. Let's see. Nala Walters, aka Mommy, said, "Ladies, this is fantastic prayer. Oh, this is fantastic. Prayer it's a stronghold in our lives. So it does not matter when, where, or how. No matter where you are, pause, take a few minutes, and dial up Jesus. That's right." Hey, Sam.
What you want? Thank you, Mama Walters.
Acknowledge Jesus. Look, you can do that throughout the day, like you said. The bad day, those are the days we really calling on Jesus, right?
Never had you on my caller ID this much in a minute. In turbulence for me to now I know what gets you to call me.
And I love, Dr. Shannon, I love that you said, typically we have control of how our day starts and how it ends. And that's one of the things I focus on when I'm having a bad day, how it ends, because so for example, a lot of times, even if it's not a bad day, a lot of times we are on the go from the time our eyes open till our eyes close, and there was no wind down. It's a lot of stuff going on up in here and we didn't unpack it. So if I'm having a really bad day, those are the days that I really like, let me just sit still after I get everybody in bed, or once I can get some kind of quiet time to myself, and just really reflect on the day. Sometimes you just need to reflect on why did this happen, and what could have been better, with some good things, bad things. What can I do?
Absolutely.
If there's a particular situation, what can I do next time? Oh, the sun is shining in my I can see a glow on my face. There we go. Like heaven was shining down on me. But you could just unpack. So what I like to do sometimes is just journal. And when you journal, you can just simply write. Just keep writing because it's your journal. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to worry about punctuation or anything. Just
Mhm.
write down everything that comes, to mind, and just unpack it. And that alone is a relief. Of course,
You,
definitely my time with God. I'm going to definitely tap into that on a bad day. And a lot of times when you do all that, you can take some time to really unpack what do you need to do the next day so the
mm,
next day can go well.
absolutely.
And right, because a lot of times we're just, there's no morning routine, there's no nighttime routine. So then you wake up in the morning, kind of all back to being busy again with no direction, no to do list, or just some kind of time
Right.
management, and then your day is pretty much destroyed the next day before it even starts.
Okay, not destroyed. But you made
Almost
some
sometimes that's how it feels.
big destruction.
And that's kind of what happens when we don't tap into our self-care. It's like self-destruction.
Ooh, that preach. Now that's a word. That's a word. Made a great segue into my book because as you were talking, I was like, I'm so glad I wrote that book. I wrote a book. My last baby is called Self Care and Success, and it's not like a book, but it's a 21-day planner, and it teaches you what we're talking about to have a routine. And I show you how to set up your morning routine and your evening routine. And funny how we talking about this evening routine when during the pandemic, God gave me some friends, colleagues, whatever. I met a whole lot of people like virtually, and some people they couldn't meet people like real in life because like
Right.
outside was closed. I was struggling, not struggling. I was struggling. One of my wise friends made me do something, and it became ingrained in my heart and in my mind, and I still do it sometimes. But the evening routine, and I talk about it in my planner, is heart time, and then heart time is you got to think about what part of your day. So when I've had the day from hell, I use this.
Mhm.
The day that was not sent from Jesus with a bow on it, and so when I have a day from hell, I force myself to have heart time. So heart time is what part of your day? Because even the days that you've had from hell, there's a heart moment, something that
Mhm.
touched your heart, or some kind of spiritual something that just no, it wasn't something that you bore. It was maybe it was a smile, or it was an interaction, maybe
Mhm.
it was a compliment, maybe it was a meme or something that blessed your whole soul that you saw on social media, whatever. Heart time. But he also encouraged me to think about what I learned that day and what I loved that day. And
Mhm.
that helped me to focus, take all that negativity and all that
Yeah.
anger and whatever that I had building on that day and focus on the positive. So even in my bad days, I learned to find
Mhm.
something to have that I learned and something that I loved about that day. And
Yeah.
even now, I'm more intentional and purposeful about looking for those things. So when I do have the day from hell, each bad day, even if I can only say, I live today. Like I got
Mm-hmm.
rest. I breathe throughout the whole day. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my finances. Even if you just go down your family stuff, just the stuff that sometimes we take for granted. Don't look at it as, oh yeah. But having that sense of gratitude for even the simplest things. Hey, having the sense of gratitude for even the simplest thing can shift my mind, and it helps me to go to sleep and not wake up to self-destruction. So that's ties in with destroyed. I do wake up like self-destruction. It's like you got that residual like it's a bad day. Don't make it a bad week. And that's
Right.
another lesson I had to learn.
That's what happens sometimes. It goes from a bad day to a bad week.
You had a bad incident at 9 a.m. and your whole day is shot. You just like, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
this is a terrible day.
Yep.
It ain't 10 o'clock yet. Why does the
Right.
whole day have to be horrific because you had
Mm-hmm.
something happen at 9? Let's pivot. Let's
Right.
breathe. Call Jesus or shout it out or do whatever you need to do your whole life because it's 9 o'clock. You can still
Right.
have a good
Mood
day.
already. You walking to work cranky and just stand with a nasty attitude all day.
Because somebody cut you off at 8:30 in the morning. That person is at Starbucks getting a venti latte or whatever, going about their business. And you like big mad all day, blood pressure up. Oh
Right.
my God, let me tell y'all what happened to me. You telling everybody what happened at 8:30. It's
Right.
8:30. We let it go. Like don't allow bad moments to turn into bad
Mhm.
hours,
Right.
days, months, and years. It's like sometimes we got to just shift our focus and pivot a
Mm.
little bit and think about that heart moment. What happened that
Yeah.
day? Did you make somebody smile? Did you see? My heart moments. I love like when I'm out doing my little walks or runs or whatever. I love seeing a
Mhm.
father with his children, like in the playground, or it was like this guy was running with his baby stroller. I just, ooh, just something does something to me when I see that.
Yes.
When I see kids loving on their father, or whatever. Us mommies is mommies. That bond with daddies and their kids when their kids are all excited. I'm
Yeah, I love to see old couples walking hand in hand too. All those things, like you say, just walking around, people watching. You don't know these people at all, but it just brings you joy. That's kind of what I was doing yesterday on my little nature walk I took yesterday morning. Like you said, just watch, like, oh. Yes, and I love that you mentioned that each and every day, no matter what happens, we have something to be grateful for. So that's actually something that, everybody should do. Have a practice of giving gratitude. First thing you wake up as soon as you wake up in the morning, Lord, thank you for waking me up. That's gratitude. At the end of the day, through a bad day, thank you for getting me through this day. Like you said, we always have something to be grateful for because we are alive. If we can't say nothing else good about the day, we are alive. And like you said, normally there's something that we learn from that day, whether it's something, not to do next time, what to do next time, how to interact with somebody, next time, whatever the case is, we know how to handle things, whatever it is, another time. We live to see another day and get things right.
and don't self-destruct the next morning.
Uh-uh. Wind it down at nighttime or whatever, whenever you can, and let's start the day anew, nice and fresh. So, if you all haven't noticed, like I said, self care is not going to be perfect each and every day, but have a plan in place. Have something that you want to do in the morning. Have something you want to do in the evening or at nighttime. Have some things you may want to sprinkle in throughout the day because, like I said, self care could be simply sitting at your work desk with your headphones on, listening to some gospel music. So when that irritating coworker come in, you won't snap. Or you won't already just start to feel irritated as soon as they walk in because you got your praise music on or your upbeat,
No
uplifting music, something.
lies at work. Worship saves lives at work, honey. Worship
Right.
saves.
Look, don't be in there listen to your gangster rap. That might not be the best music.
Don't worship it. Worship your worship your way through.
Right.
Pray
You
your
don't want
way.
to knock them out kind of music going on.
No. You need to listen to the energy that you want to adopt in the
Right.
moment. Adopt some peace, positivity. So whatever gets you into peaceful positivity mode, you do that.
Yes.
Mama Walters, you said another good one I believe in is asking God to place you on the path of His choice. Ooh, and order your steps along the way. But you probably, oh yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
I heard a message a couple years ago. I think it was during pandemic time because I was listening to a whole bunch of stuff. I had to feed myself extra self care, extra
Right.
to get through the 19, and
Hmm.
they said that God orders our steps, our stops, and our slips. So
Mm.
we only think that God is ordering when we're supposed to move, but God orders when you're supposed to stop, and God
Yep.
orders when you're supposed to slip and learn something in the slip. So
Right.
definitely, mama,
Zigzag, make a U-turn, whatever.
and your U turns. God orders all of those, all of those,
Yes.
all of those.
Yes.
Hard headed, hard headed, we hard headed.
Look, we are not perfect. That's the thing. So don't expect that everything's going to be perfect. We are all human. Like we're saying, though, just find those things that you know will bring you peace and joy each and every day. We may mess up, but have some things in plan. You can call it your self care 911 plan. This is what's going to, this is what I'm going to do when I know I'm having a stressful day. So have your things for a regular routine and have your backup plans. So that's what we're saying. Have some backup plans. All right. And remember that self care is anything that brings you joy. Some people love to cook. I cook because I just want to eat. But one of my friends, she loves to cook. So that's a form of self care for her. The self care for me is just eating it. Some people like to garden. Gardening is hard work. It's kind of cool, but I don't know. I wouldn't call that self care for me. But some people love to garden. So do whatever brings you some form of peace and joy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So y'all, I think we could just drop the mic and end it on right there. Dr. LaToya has some amazing things coming down the pike and some services that she offers. You want to talk about your self care and your speaking stuff
Lot
and
of
how they.
self-care stuff coming up. So it's already in the caption, so you all already have it. So I have two speaking engagements coming up. Between October 21st through the 23rd in Cambridge, Maryland, the Sweatpants and Chill retreat is happening. So you can check out that link below. That's an in-person event. Also, that same weekend on October 22nd is the State of Emergency presents Women Breaking the Silence. So that is focused on women and mental health. We are breaking the silence. That is a virtual event. It is the free 99. The host Tamika is asking, she would love that donations, but it is a free event. So be sure to reserve your seat because spots are limited. And I think that's all I have going on, right? Yeah,
Yes,
that's all I have going on right now.
are you
Oh, and
open?
since go ahead.
Are you open for coaching clients right now?
Not yet, but that will be coming up very, very soon. So look out for that. So, and speaking of that, be sure to go to my website, www.sheisanourishedmom.com, and sign up for my newsletter so you can stay up to date on upcoming coaching programs, upcoming podcast, y'all, and to also get you started on adding some different self-care ideas for your routine. So I have a list of 50 self-care activities for busy moms. So if you don't know what to do for self-care, or you might need some new ideas, or you may look at the list and see something that you haven't done in a while that you know you like to do that you may want to add back into your routine, check out that list. It's the free 99. So you go to www.sheisanourishedmom.com. And Dr. Shannon, what you got going on? You got to tell them about that planner you showed us.
Yes, 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 yes. So I am like she's a nurse mom on all social media platforms. I am Dr. Fitness, DrFitnurse. So on Instagram, on Facebook, you already know that because you're live. On Instagram and on Facebook, I have a group called the Healthy Lady Self Care Club, and I will tag that in the comments as well. So all of the things that I got going on self care related are going to be in my tribe. Know about it first and foremost. And they will all be posted in there. The book that I made reference to is available on drfitness.com as well as on Amazon. And it's Self-Care and Success, the 21-day planner, and it's under my full name, not Dr. Fitness, but Dr. Shannon Harrington, Shannon T. Harrington, all the way right. But yeah, I have some upcoming events. I think October, I have a lot of closed events, so I can't tell y'all about those. But the open one is I'm partnering with American Cancer Society for breast cancer awareness. So I had my own personal breast cancer scare. Breast cancer runs in my family, and I've lost 2 close friends to breast cancer.
Yeah.
So it's real serious to me. And all of my research is on breast cancer and disparities in breast cancer. So I am with American Cancer Society and a couple of other organizations that we're doing the Fine Ink this week. So all of those things will be on my page and notified in the group. So we will be doing the American Cancer Society walk in Virginia Beach on, I think it's the last Sunday in October. So if you want to donate or if you want to join the team, call the Self-Care Club. And we'll be raising money and walking for a cause.
All right. So that is our time, everybody. Hey, hubby jumped on. Hey, honey. Like he didn't keep one of those little ones from coming up here, but that's all. It's all good. So, ladies, be sure to join us next week. And give us some ideas of what y'all want to talk about. I mean, we have a whole little, what they call it, vault of things we could talk about, but we want to hear about what you all want to learn about. Okay, so give us some topics and we will put those on our to-do list. All right, be sure to check out all the links. We will add the link for Dr. Shannon's book. And until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Bye.